Welcome to the story of my life. And starring yours truly, Mr. Divine Drew. And I'm just getting things set up. And here we go. Alright. Alright. We're good to go. Good to go. Alright. Oh, alright. What is going on? What is going on? Thank you. If you guys are watching this in the future, in the past, in the present, thank you for being a part of my journey, part of my life, because if I'm totally honest, it's not the easiest explanation to everybody to understand, but I've learned how to make it that much easier because it's something that truly affected me throughout all of my life, never knew, and I had to learn for myself. And so I just want to share my story with each and every single one of you. Yes, I have a shirt off and jeans and a hat because this is my journey. I came with nothing into this world. I came with a little bit of stylish protection, and I came with the humanness of having jeans, but I'm barefoot. I have my crystals, I have my tools, my medicine, my medicine in terms of plants. And honestly, I just want to share this message so that one day that the youth can have the help that they may need. And even if they don't need, it would be good for us as human beings to learn how to be emotionally responsible for our actions, because if we don't control our anger per se, our emotional intelligence can cause us to create life or create exactly what anger does: chaos, create death. And so I think this is a great message that I want to share with the universe, because statistically in humanity, if we look at history, which is his story, which is one projection of the truth, has always been viewed as objectified, or we can never look at it and say, oh, we can take it apart and see that, like, statistically, if we keep doing this, this is the outcome. Because if we don't, the definition of modern day insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Now, that's not the medical definition, but the modern day version makes more sense to all of us because we do these things over and over. Kind of like my story. And my story started off when I was 8 years old. When I was 8 years old, it started off when I was younger than that. As a kid, I was always very open, very curious. You could even ask my mom or my family about all the different things that my inner child used to do, and things that I remember, things that I don't remember. But the truth is that these all played fractions of the soul that I am today, and the soul that I want to help other people rediscover within themselves. Because the truth is, we all hide ourselves in our boxes inside our hearts and inside our minds, and we're trying to be like everybody else, or we're trying to go somewhere, but where everybody else is on a circuit board and they're stuck. And realistically, we're trying to speak the voice that comes from within and have the power to have the courage to speak it without, so that it comes through who we are, through the truth that we are. And the fact is that we're all one, right? People always play this thing between God and science, and God and religion, or God and this, and the thing is, what God is it's you in your own world. But how you decide, how you know the difference between you and the higher source because it's always coming from what is for the highest of all good. And that's intuitively into us, and this is why kids are such beautiful beings of light, because you see it with them. They don't mean to do wrong. They have a curiosity to do wrong because it's part of them. It's part of our nature. We come into a dark world and expecting not to have dark things. Well, that's la la land. Come to the reality, people are going to hurt other people because of emotional ignorance or not knowing or just the pain that people go through. And that's okay and not okay at the same time, because historically, if we look at time, we're about to technically go into a World War III with Ukraine and Russia bullshit going, sorry my language, but with all this stuff up in the air. And it's like, why? We've already did it once, we've already did it twice, why do we need to do it a third time? So this is my message out to humanity, and all I'm just doing is sharing my truths and what I've discovered about myself and what I honestly just want to share with everybody. That's it. And at this point of my life, there's no glory other than, me seeing myself. Because in total honesty, I'm just scooching over here because as I'm talking to you guys and leaving this message out for you guys, I'm reminding myself in the mirror. And I'm reminding myself in the mirror because there's a picture above my head about a forest where I came from. Because I traveled very far, many places, to get this message out to every single soul out there because of my pain. My pain that I went through as a kid, I just chose that I didn't want nobody to go through that. And so I took that blame on myself, because the only lesson that I ever truly remember as a kid that I learned real quick was treat others the way you want to be treated. And that was because my father was very abusive. That was because he was emotionally abusive. And that was for my lessons, but at the same time, he wasn't aware, so I can't blame him. But at the time, my body had to blame him. So later in life, I had to learn how to deal with those things as a young boy going to a teenager to a man. And so a lot of my story includes the stories of the people that I love the most, that hurt me the most, but they're also the ones that were my saviors, the ones that gave me the love that I needed, regardless if it be tough or very loving. And my perspective on life is this, that wherever you come from, they're going to be able to have Beauty and the Beast moments. What I call Beauty and the Beast moments is if you can find the lesson within the pain that you're being served, then you've had, congratulations, what we call a Beauty and the Beast. Because the dark is never meant to be disregarded. The dark is meant to be heard, because the dark is just yourself, and it's just the thoughts of the world, and it's the hard part is knowing the difference between the two. So I grew up with a mental disorder that I never was aware of, because as a kid I was just such a pure ball of energy that I just wanted to play with life. And at the same time, playing with life for me was just fun. Like I like being goofy. I am still goofy. I was not scared of many things, but I was scared of love, because I had not realized that at a young age all the things that scared me that my dad was just trying to advise me or kind of shock me, ended up being the fears as to why my first situation when I got traumatized, I couldn't open up to anybody about it because I didn't know how to. And the truth is, it made me the person that I am, because I had a mental disorder called paranoia, which is just the opposite of paranoia, which is you have the fear that what you're doing good is not truly good because of the paranoia. So it's the balance between the two, and learning how to ground yourself in it all and master that world within. But they don't teach us this, because what happens is paranoia happens when a child goes through a traumatic event and they enter a mental psychosis, which doesn't happen all the time if there's nurturing circumstances, communities, ways. If there's nurturing ways to do it, it's great. But if there's not, it's really tough because I dealt with this for 20 years of my life and nobody knew, and I didn't even know until recently, like 4 days ago. So I recently just been studying this. And so paranoia basically affects you because you enter a mental psychosis because of something that traumatically happens. And when I was a young kid, my brother's best friend decided he wanted to open up and open his heart about suicide and how he wanted to hurt himself and how he wanted to just share it. And on the night that he killed himself, I was the last person in the physical contact to talk to him. And that hurt me because I didn't know what to do. And because I was a little boy, I didn't know where to take that information. And because I didn't know where to take that information, I blamed myself. And because of that, I started entering a psychosis that everything I started doing was my fault. Because I could have told somebody. But I was scared because I thought what I had done was enough. And it wasn't my fault. And it wasn't his fault. It was my lesson. And I forgave him, and I forgave myself. I forgive Eric Power was his name. And I forgive myself, Andrew Cordero. So thank you all for listening so far up to this point. Because here's the story. I grew up with a mental disorder called paranoia. I was scared to do the right thing. So instead of doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing, I would do the wrong thing on purpose so that people didn't have to do it. I played the fool card all my life because I trusted in the unknown. But I trusted in the unknown because I had faith. I had faith that I was going to find an answer. Because at the age of 8, that's when I experienced my first traumatic event. And then I was made fun of as a boy for being sensitive. Grew up tough loved. And it was a tough society. And I just kept pounding myself deeper and deeper and deeper because I thought I was the problem to everybody's lives. But I wasn't. But that was part of my thinking. Because I kept taking all that blame all my life. And I did it to an extreme. I did it to such an extreme that by the age of 17 years old, I decided to kill myself. I decided to kill myself. But a part of myself that never existed without who I was throughout this whole journey. Which was my dark. Which was my blame for God. And God was always that darkness. Even the devil and God play the same role. But something I learned is that the dark can't be ignored just because we all want the light. The dark is what the dark is, but we can learn to make the peace and the balance by being the healers that we are and being the alchemists because we have the power of transmuting words and vibrations that go with those words, the labels that we attach. And this is where people have to be in tune with their emotional intelligence and know the difference and remove the sensitivity, but bring it back in when we are opening up our minds to the possibilities of what if, because we all live in a quantum reality of a quantum experience. And you can't do nothing about that because we've been this our whole life, and we just gotta make peace with our demons by laughing at it, admitting our wrongs, and our wrongs have led us to our rights, and our rights have led us to our wrongs. And it's just a matter of hearing your own beat to the fucking goddamn song, play it, sing along. But I really wanted to share this story because I really hope to inspire and wish to inspire other people that may have early symptoms of this or may be dealing with this throughout their whole life, because the truth is everything does happen for you, but you have to have the power and the emotional intelligence to know what is yours and what is not yours, and love yourself either way, no matter what. Fill your cup first, because if you don't love yourself, you can't love. You don't. And that includes loving all parts of your soul, the masculine, the feminine, the dark, the light, on both sides. It's a quantum experience, guys. I do things in force. I've always have, because I didn't have anybody to talk to. I was left in the dark all my life because nobody would want to hear me, because everybody, the pain of being told to shut up and The pain of, you know, I couldn't find the words to explain my truth. The pain that, you know, I lost in my youth because I was so worried about doing the wrong thing, you know, and always trying to do the right thing, but I was even worried about that because I wasn't even feeling good about myself. But I used myself as a test dummy. Like, I beat myself through tough love because that's what my father taught me, you know, and so I'm at a point in my life where I'm not doing this anymore. And I want to share it with all of you. So, this is episode number 1 to me sharing part of my story. Namaste. Thank you. And thank you all for being here. Because without you being here, none of this would be real. You showed up to life. And because of you, this is real. So thank you. Out of pure unconditional love. My heart goes out to all of you and wish only abundance. And those that wish negative, no problem. I have the power of transmuting. And I wish love upon those that it may call themselves my enemies, or I may call my enemies. Forgive me. For I have trespassed. And I forgive those who trespass against us. And not to lead people into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Aho. Stay strong. Stay bright. And always give light. Ooh.